is airline traders' final boarding call to report to the dance floor. Paging Flygo. This flight is scheduled to depart in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, hello and welcome to Inflight Shenanigans. Thank you guys for joining us. We are here again. I have some great people with me today. My name is Adrina. I'm going to do the AKAs that somebody else did on the last show. My name is Adrina Reinhardt, but if you hear someone say Adrian, it's still me. So no worries, just call me Adrian, Adrina, whatever works for you. Some people call me Yo Adrian. I've had that too. I'll take it. But we're here today to talk about some in-flight shenanigans, some things that's happened on board the aircraft that maybe you've done, maybe you're somebody else you know have done, or maybe you've been on the aircraft and you've seen some things and you're like, wow, is that really what happens here? And also, I like to bring in flight attendants so that we can get their perspective, because they have a different perspective than other people. I've been in the industry for over 22 years and recently retired. I think I said that last time, but I just like to keep saying it because I'm recently retired. Thank you. I didn't hear any claps this time. Thank you. I'm gonna always try to pitch for that. So I appreciate that. I'm just happy. But one of the things that I've always wanted to do was to make sure that people can get some education about the flying industry, and I like to do it in a way of where we're doing it with love, we're doing it in fun, but we're also going to tell you the truth. We're going to tell you what should happen, what shouldn't happen. So I have some special guests today with me, so I don't like to do all the heavy lifting. Y'all know I don't like to work that hard. I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to bring some other people in, and I brought some fantastic people today. We have returning. She didn't get enough of me last time. I wear on people like that. So yeah. Kendall came back, and Kendall, tell me a little bit about yourself, please.
I actually added a new name.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. I added to my AKA list, everyone. I'm Kendall, AKA K-Fly, AKA KC with no JoJo, AKA Miss Carter.
Okay.
That's me.
So now she's Miss Carter as well.
That's my last name.
Well, welcome, Miss Kendall. How long have you been in the industry?
13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You're getting up there.
Yeah, I am.
Well, welcome, Kendall.
Yes.
We also have Miss Yvette.
Yay! Hi. My name is Yvette, and I've been flying for this May will make 20 years. I can't believe it's been that long, because when I first started out as a flight attendant, I thought I'd do it for just maybe a few years, but once it gets into your blood, it's something that you just tend to love.
It stays in there.
I'm here, and I'll be here another 20 years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's the plan.
Wow. I know, she still looks 20.
You.
Well, welcome. That's a long time, girl. I don't know if I can do another 20.
I'm trying to get there.
Jamal, I see you over here.
Hello.
That fantastic smile. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, my name is Jamal Peacock, like the bird. I have an AKA. I go by Fly Guy. So
all right.
I think it's kind of
Fly
girl. I've been flying now for 4 years total. Came from 2 different airlines, but it's been 4 good years. So
Good.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Loving it, liking it, enjoying it.
And Jamal, I see a little something here.
Yes.
Tell the people about what you got going on.
So this is from my clothing line that me and my fiance created. It's called Noir Life Apparel, and it's a Noir. It's an apparel company rooted in self-love.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm all about some self-love. Yes, that's fantastic.
Gotta love yourself before anybody else can do it. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You know, that's right.
Good stuff.
So where can we find this Noir?
You can find it if you go on Instagram, it's Noir Life Apparel, spelled just how it is on my sweater, Noire, Life Apparel. You can also add me on Instagram at JamBaby. That's JAMMBI. Jam Baby.
Jam. Oh, Jam. Jam. Fantastic. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We have a wonderful audience today, and we made sure we gave them a little wine, so they're feeling pretty good right now. Yes, that's how we do. I have a question for all of you.
Okay.
Well, before I ask the question, let me back up a little bit because I do want to go ahead and let you know our topic for today is going to be baggage claim. And we're going to talk about what to bring on board the plane and what not to bring. Also some other things that from the flight attendant's perspective of what should happen on board that aircraft with those bags. Because there's a lot that shouldn't happen. But before we get into that, I have a question. Have you guys been paying attention to the news lately and what people have been bringing on board the aircraft with the coronavirus?
Yes.
Yes.
Because bags are not the only thing that's being brought on board the aircraft. Communicable diseases are real. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts? How do you guys keep yourselves because you look pretty healthy today, and I do appreciate that. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here.
I actually just finished a trip, and I was flying with a flight attendant who made an announcement on every flight for everyone to cover their mouths when they cough. Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird, but I kind of liked it at the same time because I never do that. But when she did it, I was thankful. Yeah. So she told everyone, "Hey, it's flu season, everyone. If we could keep our germs to ourselves, although we know sharing is caring, we don't want your germs." I was like, I kind of like that. I would never say that, but
it's one of those weird, awkward things where it's like you don't want to tell people what they know they should do.
Exactly.
However, I don't want what you got. So
it's like a reminder.
Right.
Like,
please do the following.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Would you make that announcement?
I would, and I will probably make that announcement now that I've just heard her say
it.
It's the way you say it,
Right.
So, you could come across, and you could come across funny if you want, just so that they don't take it personally, especially if someone has just coughed. You don't want them to think that you're just singling them out. Right. However,
I agree with you. It's the way you do it. I guess that it boils down to how you, because sometimes this is just me. Sometimes when you put it out there, it makes people a little bit more anxious, especially in the time that we're in right now. Mm-hmm. So now, I wasn't thinking about being sick, but now I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to get these hives because somebody's sitting next to me and look at you, Jamal. Jamal just coughed.
I'm getting ready to talk.
Jamal just coughed.
I try to stay pretty healthy. I take my vitamins. I try to eat healthy, stay hydrated. I try to do all the necessary things, but at the same time, you really can't prevent. I don't know, like when you fly and lead or stand in the front a lot, you come in contact with everybody on the plane. Oh, yeah. Right. So there's only so much you can do. But I just think you just have to try to stay healthy, be conscious of what you do, what you touch. The normal that people should do is wash their hands, but,
Wash the hands.
Right. Yes.
Wash your hands. My mom used to say, wash your hands.
Everything. Imagine from the time you check in to the point of sitting in your seat. You can't even remember everything that you touched.
Right.
Yeah.
If your hands are not as dry as mine are right now, when you're on that plane, you haven't been washing your hands because the more that water gets on your hands, the more you're washing your hands, you're dry.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but I try to get the lotion on, but you need to make sure you're washing those hands. That's key.
Yeah. The best thing that someone can do though is if you are sick, stay home.
Yeah.
Girl, I just
that ticket.
My flight is going there.
Especially if you have a fever. We've had someone come on the plane one time that had a fever, and that's really bad. That's really contagious. When someone has a fever, that could be pretty bad.
Now I gotta play doctor, nurse,
right? Exactly.
Patient, everything.
Yeah. But one thing they did mention on the news, they were saying that the reason, we have a few cases here in the States right now, but they were saying a couple things that happens with this particular virus. You don't have any symptoms until after a few weeks, maybe a week or so. That's a long time for it to incubate in there. So I can see them taking a flight out and then,
not knowing that I even have it. That's scary.
And then you come in contact with so many different people.
Exactly.
In a tube.
And that's the thing.
Wow. It's like you're stuck.
I think also a lot of it's like self-awareness too, because you know where you've been, you know where you're going, and with the whole virus, with the breakout, you're knowing that it's pretty much traveling through the airports and on the airplanes. So you just kind of want to be conscious of just what you're doing, and then if you know that you may be sick or have symptoms, then you got to go home to your family, to your kids.
Right.
So you just have to just be aware. And I think that's one of the big things people are not doing. It's just being aware.
Well, let me ask the audience, just by clap, would you stay home and you've paid your money for a ticket and you know that you're sick? And would you stay home or would you take the flight? Would you take the flight?
Some
Is that a clap? Some said take the flight.
They paid their money.
Some said fly. Okay.
I don't know.
It depends on what the trip is for, too, maybe. Wherever they're flying to.
Right.
Yeah, sorry. My voice travels.
It depends on the illness.
Yeah. Years. I'm bringing all the fluent fevers.
Some of our audience members said they're bringing all the flu and fevers with them.
I mean, we're talking about sneezing, coughing, wheezing.
Right.
Depending on how
I'm
bad
going.
that flu or virus might get you.
I go.
So most of the audience is saying it depends on what it is, the type of illness it is. It depends on how sick you are. And I agree with you. I agree because you paid your money. We've come to work when we weren't just so.
Yes.
You're gonna fly. You're gonna do things when you're
And
not
still doing
at 100%. I know.
Ain't nobody else gonna take that right up. So
Right.
But here's the problem with that. It's different when you're just going to an office and you're sick. When you get up into that airplane and you're flying at 40,000 feet, it makes everything worse.
It heightens everything.
Everything worse.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful about that when you're flying. And the ears.
Most
I know
important.
somebody else mentioned that in the audience, the ears. Once that, I don't know if anybody ever
I've
had
had
that
that.
ears
Yeah.
rupture.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I never had rupture,
Just
but
tight.
I don't know how I deal with it. But my ears are like the worst. That's the worst part of my job for me. I have the worst case of popping ears. My ears hurt almost every single flight, but I've gotten accustomed to just dealing with it to where I just kind of ignore it, chew gum.
I have a question. Okay, that was my question.
Blow.
That was my question right there because I used to get this question all the time. How can I relieve my ears? And I guess because, we're flight attendants, they thought we had this, magical thing.
Yeah.
It all depends on you. I mean, I can hold my nose and blow.
Valsalva.
And it just pops them.
Valsalva.
Yeah.
She's
Or
got
I can make myself yawn.
turn.
Or sometimes I'll take, don't want to name anything, but I'll take like a decongestant.
Yeah, don't you name it because they're not paying me yet.
I'll take like a decongestant just to make, just to clear out my sinuses, and it will open you up a little bit. So that helps me.
Definitely.
Per se.
I do the same thing.
Warm water. Yeah.
I'll, if I get congested while I'm flying, if I am congested before I come to work, I will not come to work. That is a form of being sick for me. Mm-hmm. And when I first started flying, within the first 3 months, I got really congested and I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me, if you want to fly and keep this job for a long time, do not fly when you're congested. If you burst your eardrums, now you can possibly end your career. I know people who have ended their careers because of they burst their eardrums. So for me, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take that risk. So if I'm congested.
I definitely think everybody needs to know their can and cannot. Like my feet swell sometimes. So for me, that's a no-go because I can't even put on my shoes. Wow. So yeah, I can deal with a lot of stuff.
He's the most fit person that I've seen. And he's talking about his feet swell. It's like an old man.
I eat a lot of fried chicken. So.
You stay away from the fried chicken and the pork, man.
That's my vice. That's what I cannot stay away from is fried chicken.
So with as far as staying healthy on board the aircraft, that's what I was saying before. When people bring things on board the aircraft, aside from baggage and all that other stuff, what we bring personally, that health is huge. We have to make sure that we are able to fly because once we're on that aircraft, that air circulates and it doesn't take much to get sick. So for people who fly a lot like they're doing and the average flight attendant will fly, let's just say, okay, some people don't know this, but for the average flight attendant, they could fly from one leg, meaning going from one city to the next, all the way up to 6. Mm-hmm. And it depends what happens. It could be a lot more than that.
Right.
So, we have to make sure that when you're doing that and you have, with each flight, you have hundreds of people that you come into contact with. I'm surprised. I'm just being honest. I'm surprised right now we only have 2 confirmed cases of the coronavirus right now.
I'm shocked. That's a low number.
That's very low.
Yeah.
And especially here in Atlanta, which is where we're from. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, Georgia Peaches right here. But right here in Georgia with the international with the international airport, and they're coming straight in
Right.
Yeah.
from other countries. I'm just surprised right now. So we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was
Like you
flying,
said, the symptoms may take a little while, so some people may have it. Some people don't go to the doctor. That's the sad thing.
Well,
they think they can
that's true,
treat it
too.
at home.
Some people think it's just a common cold. Because I remember about 2 years ago, I was commuting from Baltimore. And by the time I boarded my flight and landed in Atlanta, I had the full-on flu. I was feeling perfectly fine. And by the time I got home to my car and got home, I had the flu. I went to the doctor the next day, and she was like, "Where did this come from?" And I just couldn't remember what all I had come in
Wuhan,
contact
China.
with.
That was last year, right?
No, 2 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. This year I haven't flown much during this season. I just refuse to.
Yeah.
I can't be sick like that.
Jamal was over here coughing a little earlier too. So
Come over here and feel free. We're clean
I
here.
was making room for my wine. So
Jamal's okay. We're gonna keep him.
He's all right.
I'm
He's
good
all
today.
Can we get some Kleenex and some
Please
some
Sanitizer.
Some masks.
Sanitizer.
We got masks.
Somebody go get my bag.
I'm not OCD today, so I'm okay. All right, gang. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick moment, a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about baggage claim. We talked a little bit about, what people can bring as far as illnesses and things like that. But I want to dive into something that... do you really need all that stuff? That's my issue with bags. I mean, do you really need all that stuff? And then what's in that bag? Why is it so heavy? And why you can't put it up? Okay.
Get you staggy.
Yes.
So, when we come back from this break, we're going to dive all into that, and don't go too far.
This is Captain Fly Guy speaking. We've leveled off at our cruise altitude, and I want you to pay close attention to those flight attendants' instructions. And for right now, I just want you to...
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Inflight Shenanigans. There's been an update. There's been an outbreak right here at the WLPV studios. We don't know quite what it is, but somebody had it, and we're not trying to get it because we're flight attendants. We know what to do. I'm just playing. But now, this is,
Sterile.
you know what?
Scrub it
We
in.
are sterile, but you know what? Just having a little bit of fun from the break before. We were talking about people bringing things on board the aircraft. And we were talking about, some things like the coronavirus or some other illnesses that maybe some people may have that, they bring on board the aircraft. But for the most part, just what Jamal was saying and what we all were saying here, washing your hands, just being as clean as you can. And also, if you're sick, you may have to just bite the bullet and stay home. That's the best way to take care of yourself and take care of everybody else. Right. But some other things that people bring on board the aircraft, that, got me in a grip, got me in a tizzy. Bags. What's up with those bags, man? I see people with 6, 7 bags. They're all Gucci, of course. You got to have the Gucci bags. 6, 7 bags, and it's just Louis Vuitton, and it's just them, or it's just 2 people. And they're going from Atlanta to Miami for 2 days.
They need options as far as outfits.
How many options of outfits do you need to put in there?
I have that issue with packing.
When
I'm going to
sorry.
What if we go to the club? What if we go to the beach? What if we go to a winery?
See, that's thinking too much.
No.
That is thinking, what?
You should
I digress.
Have maybe, I'll say 2 or 3 options per day.
Oh, wow.
But it's not what you pack, it's how you
used
pack.
to do that, yeah.
So I think you can take a lot. I take a lot on my trips, but I pack properly, so it doesn't seem like a lot.
You seem like a neat packer.
I'm a very neat packer.
Okay, let me ask you, how do you pack?
So I roll. So my jeans, I take 2 pair of jeans and I roll my jeans up and I sit them on the side. I'll take maybe 3 or 4 shirts, maybe 3 or 4 t-shirts plus sleeping shirts. Then I take different undergarments or underwear. Because I won't
watch out, Jamal.
I won't sleep in them and wear them the next day. So I have to have everything separate. Then I have to have like 3 or 4 pair of socks to wear for work, and then a few pair to walk around the hotel in. So everything is like times 4.
Okay, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Jamal's way
But
of
it's
packing.
neatly packed though.
Because if you're rolling, that's the key. If you roll it tightly, but he also has a method to his madness.
Yes.
You know, one outfit can actually be intertwined with other outfits as well. So, you know, that's the key. But I don't. What are you doing, Kendall? You talking about you just bringing stuff?
Well, when I take personal trips, I pack differently than when I, come to work. When I come to work, I just bring the minimum. My layover outfit, my 2 night clothes, my flip flops to walk around the hotel in. Interesting that you said you walk around the hotel in socks.
Yeah, I just love socks. I do that at home too.
You walk around
I walk
the hotel
around in
in
socks. Yeah, because I'm very cold natured, so I don't like my feet to be cold on those floors. And sometimes the carpet feels sticky. Like if it's an old hotel, it feels sticky and wet. So I just walk around in socks.
So we need you to walk around in your socks with your flip flops on.
So
I didn't want to say it.
I have Nike flip flops, but I just prefer socks.
That's nice.
Yeah, I just prefer socks.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you guys. You know, we talk about things that we bring. You know, flight attendants bring. Flight attendants we don't have a bag limit. Technically.
Yeah.
Technically, when you see flight attendants and they have all these bags and then they're like taking your bag because you brought, 2 carry-ons or whatever and a personal item and they're like, you need to consolidate. And we come on and we have like a whole trail of 6 or 7 bags and you're like, well, what happened? Well, it's because we're working and, we have to bring more.
It's life in a bag.
Yeah,
you
it's
have
life
to
in a
live
bag.
for
Our
3
food
days
alone.
out of a bag.
Exactly. But, so yeah, that part probably is not as fair as it probably should be. But at the same time, flight attendants, I've seen flight attendants bring things that, I won't say that I've seen it. But I know that flight attendants bring things that they probably shouldn't bring.
Such as?
More often than not.
Like what?
So what are you talking about?
Well, I won't say this is a flight attendant. Story. It's not a story time, but what had happened was this is this wasn't a flight. Well, it could have been a flight attendant. I don't know. I'm just gonna put it like this. I don't know. But I was on the aircraft and there was this noise. There was this vibrating noise coming from the overhead bin.
Oh.
And it sounded like it could have been, you don't know what that is. It could be a bomb. It could be,
a phone.
It could be a phone, something. But something is something is moving around in that overhead bin. And the more we were asking, hey, whose bag is this? Whose bag is this? Nobody wanted to claim it.
Oh.
I guess they didn't want to claim it for a good reason.
It could have been an electric shaver.
Yeah.
Toothbrush. I mean,
massager.
But what was it?
From Brooklyn.
I get all of that, but what was it?
It wasn't any of the above because the person finally, after we said that, hey, we're going to have to take this bag off because it was, something that sounded unusual. She finally.
So what, did it come out of the bag?
No, but she had to open up the bag to turn it off, and I was like,
powerful.
You would be.
That's strong.
I would have too. Like you were bold enough to pack it. I'm gonna look and see what it was.
See, I'd have been the first one like filling across the bin. What is this?
I mean, for safety,
For
you
safety,
should.
I'm going in there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
well, I wasn't going in there.
No,
I
I'm
was
saying
letting
the
her.
bin, not the bag, the bin.
Right.
Yeah.
But is there something wrong with bringing a vibrator to work? I mean, what if you are going through something and you need to release if you like?
You don't even have to be going through anything.
The audience is clapping right now.
really want something to
Can we
happen.
just jump straight to that? Because I don't know if is that what it was?
Yes, it was.
That's actually safer than meeting up with people on Tinder on your layovers.
Right.
True.
Well, you know what? And that was the audience was clapping. Audience members, should you bring your toys with you on the flight?
Yes.
Yeah, bring what you feel. Bring what you feel.
As long as your hotel room neighbor,
Right.
Because I've had those stories where it's crazy when you go to check in for your room, and you know who's next door to your left and right,
Oh yeah.
and then you hear something, and then it's like, well, now I'm at work the next day, and I know it was one of y'all,
Right.
and I know which one of y'all it was, but it is.
But
what
that
it
doesn't
is.
happen often, does it? No, it doesn't happen often,
I've had it happen
does
a
it?
few times, but no.
But that's okay.
Am I supposed to say no? Oh.
No, don't say the name.
But yeah, I mean, I've had it, but it's life,
Right.
Yeah.
It is life.
natural.
And you know what? And I do agree with you, Kendall. I'm going to, hey, bring what you like. Just turn it off.
Whatever you need to get through the next day,
Take the batteries out.
Relieve that stress.
do what you got to do. You know,
We don't need all that.
who am I to judge?
So, this picture was sent to me by Miss Yvette.
Wow.
That's been a popular,
I've never seen this.
really.
So, this is, I mean, we've seen bags packed like this on board the aircraft. I've had them to fall out on people, things like that. But when you have this metal case, I had a metal case just like that one that fell out on someone's head and actually knocked them out.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, I guess. Somebody said lawsuit. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
As long as he can come to and enjoy it.
Right.
He's out forever. That's it. But yeah, so when you're talking about packing, I've had some heavy stuff to come on board. Of course, there's supposed to be a weight limit.
Yeah.
But when you come on board the aircraft and you can't lift it, did you need all of that? That's in that bag? Do you all help people with their bags when they come on?
Depends on who they are. Older lady in a wheelchair doesn't have anybody with her. First of all, that's kind of sad because she shouldn't be traveling by herself. So I'll help that kind of person. But somebody who's my age, I'm not helping them.
Well, what if
Me neither.
Or a couple of years older than me, old enough to be my mother, I'm not helping you.
even if I said pretty please?
No. It
I'll
depends on-
assist you and help, like,
It depends. If you're
push it in the bin, but I'm not gonna like take it from the floor and lift it and do that.
I think I ask questions like, so can you lift it at all? Can you get it down? Because I'm not going to be here to get it down. And sometimes they'll answer that question themselves, but most times, no, I don't. It depends on your appearance. If I see that you physically can't do it and you're traveling by yourself, I'll do it. But most times, no.
I'll make sure.
And it's harder for men because
Very.
people expect
Yes,
you all
exactly.
That's
to
Everybody
help.
expects chivalry.
Yeah.
And
And it's natural for
women
a
think
lot
that
of you
we
too.
just supposed to do it.
Yeah,
And
I've actually heard a lady
And I'm
tell
just
this guy
that's
that.
not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I would love to, but
They look how big and young and strong you are, and they're like, "Can you help?"
that's
Yeah, I'm
not what they
strapping
seem like
in.
at me. But
Well, let me ask you guys, what do people do when people come on with their bags? What gets you in got your panties in a bunch? Not yours, but what gets you just like, I cannot with this?
About when people bring their bags on the plane.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you an example. For me, when people come on board and they're trying to put it in the overhead bin and you tell them it's, that's not going to fit, we need to turn it. And they're like, it fit on the last plane. And they go back at it again. I got to a point where I just stepped back and watched them. It was like a show for me.
that
shake
makes
my
me look
hands.
at you longer.
Yes.
Because you know it didn't fit.
Right.
Like that will make me look at you longer and figure out, what are you talking about? Because it's not going to fit, obviously. Like you can visually see
But
that
it
the bag
fit on
don't
the
fit.
last plane. So what kind of gets you guys going? Bags.
Well, for me, we make the announcement that if you would please place your small item underneath the seat in front of you and the large bag in the overhead bin. But when people want to come on and just place their backpack or their purse in the overhead bin, now that's going to take up the room that the big bags would use for the overhead bin. So that kind of gets me, riled up a little bit. And it's okay, like, once we get the bags up there, if you want to place it up afterwards and we have room, that's okay. But to go ahead and just, because I've seen it, somebody's practically taken up a whole bin with backpacks, and then now the big suitcases come on, you have nowhere to put them.
Scarves and jackets.
Yeah, scarves and jackets, yeah.
Winter time is probably the worst.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have the jackets and the coats and everything else, and you run out of bin space, and people don't understand that. How can you run out of bin space? My seat is right here. The overhead bin is full. How's that happen? So, yeah.
I think for me, people can be very disrespectful. Oftentimes I have people that'll come up and they'll just leave their bag and sit down, and they're like, "Can you just put that up?" And it's like, no.
Just go ahead and leave that bag right there.
They'll just literally leave it in the aisle, and it's like, "Can you just put that bag up?" I'm like, "No, this is not how it works." No. I'm just a very direct person to do my job. But then also I caution on the end of safety too. Your bag needs to go up. If it can't fit, we have to check it. Like, it's just not I don't play with the gray area. I just do what I'm supposed to do.
Wow, he's a good flight attendant, folks.
Yes.
I just do what I have to do, you know. It's kind of the way you should do it.
Jamal is the lead flight attendant. Yes, he is.
Are you?
A lot.
Yes.
He's a purser.
Yeah.
The purser. Wow, you took it way back. Purser. For all of you younger kids who never heard of purser. Yeah. So let me ask you this then. You know, we talk about bags and things like that, but people bring on, and I'm just taking this straight from what's been happening lately. People have been bringing on their own animals and saying that they are service animals.
They're lying.
I think I'm gonna have a parakeet. I think I'm just gonna put him right here on my shoulder and say, "This is my service animal."
Emotional animals barking at you,
Right.
in strollers. I literally just saw a poodle in a stroller the other day, and he barked at me.
Yeah.
No, sit down, little fella. Whatever the owners call
And
him.
then they get mad at you for like your emotional support animal should not be attacking me right now. Like, but then it's my fault.
But I don't want to pay the fees. I don't want to pay for my animal to be, because that's the thing. I can just pay I think it's $129 online and purchase a vest.
So this is the thing. If you go that step to purchase the vest, just make sure that your animal acts accordingly.
Right.
I shouldn't have to question
tranquilizer
your animal. Right.
or something.
Benadryl, I don't know.
Tranquilizer. I think that's,
you know.
Yeah.
No, kill them.
A lot of people give their dogs tranquilizers
It's just
on
a
the
mild
plane.
one.
Just
it's for dogs.
Just to calm
Yeah.
them. Right.
Like you can give.
That's what they need to be on
like
the
you
plane.
can give a dog like half of a kid's Benadryl. It'll last like 5 hours. It's, you know.
Really? You can give them human?
Yeah, you can give them. Yeah, like when dogs have skin issues and all this stuff.
Inflight Shenanigans is not.
I'm not.
We're not saying that. You need to go out and put
care.
some of that. Yeah. So
I just feel like I shouldn't have to question the validity of your animal's status based off of their actions. Like, they just shouldn't be sitting there barking at me.
And that's the thing. You know, we have to keep in mind, these are animals. You know, we love our pets. I love dogs. I love pets.
No comment.
But on an aircraft, it's a little bit different.
Right.
It is.
People's demeanor change on an aircraft. So, you know, animals' demeanor could change on an aircraft. Even if they are a trained service dog.
Yeah.
They still are an animal. They have moments of territorial type moments. But I had one situation that this person said that they were a service animal. And they were sitting in the first row. And this dog, I just had that instinct that this is not a service animal, because he looked at me and I looked at him. The dog looked at me again. I was like, "You're not a service animal." I was like, "I know I'm not." But the people, they were sitting up there, and this lady, she was in the middle of the airplane, but she had her baby, and I guess the baby was a little fussy or whatever. So she decides to this is going to be another show. But we're going to come back to this in another show. But she decides to let the baby crawl on the floor.
Oh, no.
So the baby's crawling up the aisle. And I'm sitting here, it's kind of like slow motion. You can see that this is not going to work out well. Yeah. And the baby's crawling forward, and I'm sitting here on the jump seat and the dog is kind of looking back at me and looking back down the aisle. And the lady's not too far from the baby. But before I knew it, the dog got mad. Oh, gosh. I guess the territorial thing, or what is this thing coming towards me? And he gets up and he's going towards the baby. The lady's trying to pick the baby up. And I was like, "Oh, Lord, we're going to have a crazy situation right here on this aircraft."
Oh, no.
So, service animals technically are trained to not have those type of...
Right.
Exactly. But who knows? They're an animal.
And I'm a dog lover. I have 2 dogs. But when I moved to California and back, I opted to drive my dogs. I drove. Because being a flight attendant, I know how dogs act. My dogs have never flown on a plane before, and I didn't want to put a flight crew in that situation. I always think outside of the box with stuff like that, so I drove my dogs.
That is delightful.
I have a big dog and I have a smaller one, and I don't know which one is going to have their day.
Right.
But it won't be with me.
Right?
It might be with their daddy, but not with me. I just don't do it.
You know, people always say, "Does your dog bite?" I used to always say,
I don't know.
"Yeah, they can.
Exactly.
They can."
Yeah.
Yes.
Has he ever bitten anyone? No. But will he?
They can.
I'm sure he will.
You don't like animals?
No. Don't judge me. Oh, see? That's just like telling people you don't celebrate Christmas. You don't celebrate Christmas? Everybody everybody gets off first.
Like, what did you go through? To make you not like a dog.
Exactly.
Oh,
I'm not a dog. I'm not
Bring the dogs out. Bring them out. What?
We lost the co-host. This is
I'm not
you.
scared. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
You know?
But at least you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
I like babies.
Well, no, I'm just kidding.
You guys-
Well, let me ask you guys: have you ever seen? I know you say you saw a dog in a stroller. Have you ever seen them actually in a backpack or in a luggage?
Yeah, I have. The little rolly backpack. Look at the ears peeking out.
Right.
I've seen somebody get on the plane with a dog that was not on the paperwork, and it was in a bag. And I'm like, man, can you put that
A
bag
shopping
up?
bag, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, can you put that bag up? And she's like, I can't. I'm like, but you have to.
I don't like
my
this
dog in
topic.
it. And it's like, well, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not even on the paperwork.
Because it's like, yes, that kind of stuff really does happen.
It really does happen.
But it's like you don't want to point them out because that's how you get written up. And then if you don't say anything, they feel like they can get away with it again. So there's no winning.
Yeah,
there's no winning.
What's the strangest things you guys have seen in bags?
In bags?
Yeah,
The strangest thing
something
I've
that
seen
people
in
have brought on.
bags.
Well, this was like years ago when I first started flying. It wasn't in a bag. The guy had an iguana lizard in his jacket.
No.
We didn't find out though until we were like landing and basically done with the flight.
Get through security.
I don't know. But he had on like a kind of like a bomber style jacket. It wasn't leather, it was a cloth, material one. And anyway, it wasn't a big one, but
it was one.
We were like,
the size of a lizard.
God.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So really, you never know what's in someone's bag.
You really don't.
You really don't.
Because the thing is, like I tell people, if it made it through TSA, if it made it past the agent, by the time it gets to us,
right,
we're just we're visual.
Right.
So I can't pat you down.
Yeah.
I have to see it before I can address it. And if I don't see it, it's like...
And let me say this, it was pre 9/11, so you remember the security and stuff was real lax back then.
Pre 9/11, a lot was
right.
Yeah. Now it makes sense.
That could be a whole different story, but still, it wasn't allowed. We allowed cats and dogs still, but
not reptiles.
iguana. Yeah.
But I think people now are becoming more creative, though.
Oh
yes.
It's just ridiculous.
Right.
Oh, God.
That's the best way to put it.
Well, now they've since 9/11 they've replaced the iguana with the AK-47s and all these other weapons that they're trying to bring on.
Yeah.
But
they're bringing babies on. Just like, where did that baby come from?
Yeah.
It's bringing everything nowadays.
anything else? You had anything else that somebody brought on that just like what?
I can't think of anything.
No.
Let me ask the audience: have you ever tried to sneak anything on board the aircraft? Be honest.
Just my children after 2.
After 2.
So we had an audience member that said that she sneaks her children on after 2. If they're under the age of 2, then they can come on and fly free. But it's kind of hard to give that free up once they get to be 3.
I tell people, and I've had a passenger that, so this baby isn't under 2, but you still want to argue with me.
Right.
I'm like, okay, if you get that far, you need to just hold a baby in your lap. Don't argue with me. But you're taking up a seat and we're full. So now I have to verify where this kid comes from. But you're mad at me. I'm like, you should have known the rules before you tried to break them.
But here's the thing though, don't go by the size of the child though, because those of you who can't see me or don't know me, I'm 6 feet tall. And, I'm sure I was a long child. Don't say anything. My sister's in the audience. Don't you say anything about how long I was. But I see people with, pretty good sized kids, but they still under the age of 2.
Right.
But if they are, then they need, if they're
should make
registered
it
as
a
a
weight
lap
or
baby,
height.
then that baby just needs to be in your lap.
Yeah.
I mean, it needs to match my paperwork so I don't have to go through all of this.
Right. But for safety reasons, I think the airline should base it on height or weight because, like you said, you could have a child that's under 2, but they look like they're 3 or 4, and I've seen that too.
I can't co-sign. I'm sorry. I can't co-sign.
It's discriminatory.
Yeah,
no, but it's safety.
I'm gonna
if
feel
they're
some kind
so
of way.
big, that's why they can't sit in your lap after 2 because it's now becoming a safety issue. Because if there was an impact. Now, that's why I say height or weight needs to be.
I got you, Yvette, but I'm still feeling some trouble.
Our jobs kind of border on the line of discriminatory because a lot of stuff that we want to say or that we should say, we really don't for the sake of the passengers, their feelings, or not wanting to put ourselves in a place where we may get written up. So a lot of times we just kind of we cringe at having to say certain things.
We educate towards compliance, and then we be the nice flight attendant again.
And then it's my fault. You know,
it's always your fault.
And it's fine. You know, I take it. I'm good. You know, we can go down this road if we have to.
Safety first.
Because I want you to be safe, right?
But you know what? I think it's story time. Oh, wow. Okay, so you guys are already here. Well, welcome. And it's one of those days. Long day, as always. And you know how I like to do. I like to get comfortable, get myself together here. What a day. So as I get myself comfortable, I like to reflect on the day. Reflect with me. Come on. Now I'm feeling a lot better. What a day. So, as you all know, I love to reflect, and oh my goodness. One moment, I still need to get a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, okay, here we go, okay. Yes, all right, now, a lot better. Oh, that's a lot better. So, there's nothing I like better than to reflect on the day. And I love to do that with In-Flight Shenanigans, a flight attendant's tale. In here, we have some of the best stories about things that's happened throughout the years on the aircraft. I know you want to hear a little bit, right? I do too. Just a moment. Come closer. Okay, so I like to call this one a leap of faith. So what had happened was boarding had commenced, and I was standing in the middle of the aircraft greeting passengers as they stowed their luggage and settled in. Soon I noticed a young man, maybe in his 20s, frail and with a look of terror on his face. As he sat down, I noticed he had a backpack on, but did not take it off and stow it away. Instead, he sat hunched over while his oversized backpack rested on his back. I slowly approached the young man to see if he needed any assistance and to see what was up with that bag. As I walked towards him, he quickly turns and says, "Hey, is this plane safe?" As I stood there with a comforting smile on my face, my flight attendant thoughts were saying,
"Are you serious right now? Nah, this plane's not safe. We're going down."
I politely said,
Turkey?
"Absolutely. Is there anything I can help you with, sir?" He quickly said, "No." I said, "Well, your backpack will have to go underneath the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin." He quickly said, "Oh, no. I have to keep it on my back." I said, "Is there a reason?" He took a deep breath, looked down, then slowly he took the backpack off and sat it on his lap. He unzipped the bag and looked at me. With a serious tone, he softly said, "I have my parachute in there." My demeanor never changed, even as my flight attendant thoughts tried to take over.
Wow.
Sure enough, the material bulging from the bag seemed to be parachute quality. And here's another in-flight shenanigan, a flight attendant's tale. Join us next time. Do you know why the parachute would not work?
Are we too high up?
You're too high up.
And then you're inside.
Well, going too fast. But how you gonna
get that door open?
How you gonna get the door? Yeah, there you go.
You
can't get out the door.
There's no way to. Yes, the door.
That door's
the door's not going
pressurized.
to open.
Yeah, it's not.
It's pressure.
You have to be down.
No.
You have to be down at an unpressurized level in order to jump out of a plane. So, yeah, this happened actually some years back, and this was when I first started flying, and I was actually very surprised when I saw it was actual. Had to be a parachute. It looked like the material, and he was serious.
He was. Yeah.
He was serious.
Interesting.
Bless him.
I wonder what.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you thinking? Like,
Right.
it looks like you're thinking about jumping if you take a parachute. I don't know.
Don't know. What can you do? I tell you, sit there and let him do. So I can tell you what I did. I just said, okay, we just put that underneath the seat in front of you if you need it. There it is. With that, we're going to bring this episode to a close. I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. We had fun today. It's wintertime right now, and it's a little chilly, so I had to get a little tea, a little something in my cup, but I'm good now. But I do appreciate you guys coming out and joining us. Audience members, I thank you. Everybody, my guests, you guys were fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
I'm looking forward to having you again, hopefully soon. And join us again for the next Inflight Shenanigans show. Thank you.
Thank you for flying Airline Traders.